Welcome, everyone. I will call the special meeting of Council on November 3rd, 2025 to order at 6 p.m. And I will ask if there's any disclosures of pecuniary interest. Councillor Van Kooten-Bossence first, please.
I get to go first. Wonderful. So I am declaring pecuniary interest on number 3 multi-year budget update if discussions take place regarding the Ingersoll Senior Center or the Kiwanis Club of Ingersoll, their special, their sponsorship within our council budget portion, and number 5 for the community development grants for the Putt, which is a part of the Ingersoll Kiwanis Club.
Thank you very much. And I will now turn to Councillor Bowman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the delegation of the Ingersoll Masons, I would like to declare an indirect pecuniary interest for the matter that I am a member of that organization.
Thank you very much. And Deputy Mayor Wilson, please.
Thank you. Through you, I'm declaring a pecuniary interest on 2 community development grant applications. The first from United Way Oxford, that's my employer, and the second from the Rotary Club. I'm a board member for the food project, which would be a direct beneficiary of one of the submissions from the Rotary Club.
Thank you very much. Obviously, a large document, complicated. If throughout the evening you notice something, just let me know, and as long as we declare before it happens, then it's not a problem. And if there is something that comes up in discussion, we'll just break for a second and allow those members to do what they need to do that way. So thank you very much for that. Sorry, no other, seeing no others? Perfect. I will go to Councillor Hughes for adoption of the agenda, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Motion moved by myself, Councillor Hughes, seconded by Councillor Halleru, that the agenda for the November 3rd, 2025 special meeting of the Town of Ingersoll Council be adopted as presented.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, that'll take us into our delegations and presentations. And I'd like to call on Duncan Whitelaw, President of the Masons, and Kent Cunnington, who's the Treasurer, please, up to the lectern. Welcome.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you for Mr. Mayor, Town Council. So good evening. My name is Duncan Whitelaw. I'm the president of the Ingersoll Masonic Corporation, and this is Kent Cunnington, our treasurer. We want to thank Town Council for giving us this time to let us know who we are, what we do, what is Freemasonry, and go over some of the misinformation that was in last year's TO 21-24, prepared by the Treasury Department, dated October 28, 2024. The Ingersoll Masonic Corporation is a not-for-profit corporation that owns and manages the property at 190 Thames Street South. The corporation rents the facility to the main tenants, which are the King Hiram Lodge number 37 and the St. John's Lodge number 68, who are also the owners of the corporation. The facilities are also rented to other Masonic bodies, groups and organizations, individuals, charities, for within the community for things like birthdays, anniversaries, baby showers, celebrations of life, just to name a few. The facilities are also rented to various organizations at a reduced rate, or in some cases, justifiably free of charge. Well, not quite as old as the town of Ingersoll, which was founded in 1793 by Thomas Ingersoll, who was also a Mason, King Hiram has been in existence since 1803, while St. John's has been in existence since 1856. I'm sure most people have seen the Masonic logo in some form, whether it be on the building facade or on the sign in front of the lodge or on signs coming into town. Many may not know what Freemasonry is about. Freemasonry is the oldest and largest fraternal organization in the world. Its members share a common goal of trying to help each other become better men. Its body of knowledge and systems of ethics is based on the belief that each member has a responsibility to prove oneself while being devoted to their family, their faith, their country, and their fraternity. Masons are a group of like-minded individuals for mutual benefit and follow the golden rule to always do to others what you would like them to do to you. Freemasonry offers much to its members: the opportunity to grow, the chance to make a difference, and the means to build a better world for our children. It offers the chance to socialize and work with men who have the same values and ideals. The report last year indicated we have an adherence to faith. Now, faith is a part of Freemasonry. Every member is free to follow their own path, with the only requirement to become a Mason being to believe in a higher power. That may have a religious meaning for some, while to others it may not have a religious affiliation of any kind. The report also indicated that membership is restricted to men only above the age of 21, which, while accurate, we very much consider our organization a family affair, as all members are encouraged to put their families first, and family members are invited to participate in the many social and charitable events hosted by the men. There are also affiliate organizations like the Eastern Star, which is open to both men and women, as well as DMLA for young boys aged 12 to 21, and the International of Rainbow and Job's Daughters International for girls 10 to 20. Unfortunately, like other organizations and service group, not every affiliate group is able to locate in every Masonic Lodge building, and Ingersoll is no exception. Young boys and girls must travel to London and/or Woodstock to participate in events. But what do our lodges do within the community? Both lodges are both very active, donating between $10,000 to $15,000 every year to various organizations around the community. They include things like bursaries to graduating students at IDCI, donations to the Ingersoll Hospital, the Interchurch, the lunch program for kids, the Salvation Army, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, minor sports sponsorship, the Ingersoll Fire Department smoke detector campaign, and while not in the town of Ingersoll, the Sakura House, which benefits many of those from the town of Ingersoll. As well as all these worthy organizations and charity, the corporation also offers the hall to various organizations at reduced rental costs and in some justifiable instances free of charge. The application in front of Town Council for a rebate of the portion of town taxes will help reduce overall costs, which will allow us to continue to help keep rents low, as well as to continue the offer at no charge to specific organizations. We want to thank you for your time, and we're willing to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for your presentations. Questions from council of the delegation? I have a question for you. Our policy, I believe the issue with it came from the fact that on the application it wasn't shown, because my understanding is that you're asking for the tax portion to be refunded because you provide that facility at reduced or no rent to other organizations within the community. But the issue is that that's not shown on the financial statements, and it was requested that be done. Is that an issue to be able to provide that information to show, what income you're giving up to help those other organizations use the facility?
I'd have to do some calculations on that. Wouldn't take that long probably to figure that out, but because we have one organization who does do it on, I believe, a monthly basis, so we could do a quick calculation on that, and then we could probably do some calculations based on reduced. We have a couple that are at reduced rents, so I could probably do a calculation on that and send it over as soon as possible. I don't have that information in front of me right now.
Yeah, we just have summary reports with us. We don't have the granular detail with us.
Okay, that was my understanding of where the ineligibility came from, because yes, it's that, but if it's because of the building for reduced taxes, and you're having that ability to, the communities to use that, community groups to be able to use that, seeing that reflected in the financial statements would be a very important
Yeah, I can
item.
do something up if that's okay, and I can send it to I think Danielle is who I've been dealing back and forth with.
Perfect.
Now, one question related to that, we have supported some of the local businesses, like when Food Basics came to town, we hosted their job fairs and all that, and did that as a reduced rental rate to encourage that. Would you like that in there as well?
Absolutely. I think it would be helpful to show any time that you've provided that facility at a reduced or no charge, to see the impact on the community, to show why the need is for the reduced tax, like the refund in taxes. And I think,
I can get
Absolutely.
some of those numbers together.
okay. Any further questions from council for the delegation? Seeing that, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And I believe we have a Councillor Halleru, please.
Thank you. Moved by myself, Councillor Halleru, seconded by Councillor Van Kooten-Bossence, that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Ingersoll receive the presentation from Duncan Whitelaw and Kent Cunnington of the Ingersoll Masons concerning Community Development Grant Program eligibility as information.
Thank you very much. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay. That brings us, we'll just get Mr. Bowman to rise from the darkness and join us.
Back into the light.
Although it's not that hard this time of year to find the darkness, as we have. That will turn us over to our 2026 multi-year budget update and staff recommended budget. So I will turn it over to Mr. Graves to start, please.
Thank you. As council is somewhat aware, this is a pretty different budget process than what we've been used to, mainly due to the introduction of the strong mayor powers. Our mayor has sought to restore the process as close to the previous process as possible. So we are here tonight seeking input and collaboration as per the mayor's direction. A more formal presentation of the budget will come later in the process. This is our budget that we have prepared, and we have tried to introduce a fair budget with the requirements that we as staff need. We have accomplished most of our goals as the strategic plan, and so we're putting the final touches on those goals, and that'll be reflected in this document. Staff also recognize that these are different economic times. This budget is attempting to reflect that. Some goals have been slowed down, but we're still planning to proceed with the MERC. However, now more than ever, it is time to take prudent steps, which is why staff are still suggesting with proceeding with phase 1 of the MERC project. Staff recognize the council may have further input and/or reductions, and we welcome that input. With that, I'll turn it over to our treasurer.
Thank you. I thought that we would start with staff reports and leave the budget to the end, but that's fine. Staff is pleased to present the
So
draft.
if council's of agreeance, if that would be more clarification, then we do have an adopted as well, but we could defer consideration of this report until after the other ones, if that's more so desirable from a staff's perspective. So I would look for just a motion to defer consideration until after special staff reports.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Councillor Halleru, and I said Deputy Mayor Wilson. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, that's carried, and we will pick that back up till after a special staff report. So at this time, we now go to the 2026 budget timeline, and I will turn that over to Mr. Graves.
Yes, so this report, sorry, I'll turn my microphone on. This report has been prepared by the Clerk's Department, outlines the budget timeline. This is a very unique budget timeline, as per my introduction I just did. So we just want council to be aware of the timeline because this is different than what has been done in the past. I don't know if the clerk has anything else they'd like to.
No, really, just to echo the CAO's comments, because this is council's first time through this new budget process, wanted to equip you with as much information as possible so everybody knows what to expect and how we envision it to proceed. So happy to answer any questions in the context of the strong mayor legislation as prescribed under the Municipal Act against the mayoral directive that was issued by Mayor Petrie. So if anyone has any questions, we are happy to answer.
Deputy Mayor Wilson, please.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. If we get new information that has to update a draft portion of the budget, as long as we get that information before the mayor tables that version, it doesn't skew the timeline. Am I understanding that correct?
That's correct. There's a lot of variables. So under the Municipal Act, the deadline for the mayor to table his or her budget is February 1st. And then after that, it goes back to council's budget. So there is that timeline embedded in the act.
And just to further that, there are things in here that are unknown. And so I think personally what I'd like to see is try to get to consensus before the budget's table. So there's a preliminary possible date there, but really I would always defer to what, if council's not ready or we're not ready as a whole, because that's the whole purpose of this, is to do it as a whole. Then, yeah, we'll just have to wait until we have up till that time. And I say we because, again, it says strong mayor budget, but that's not, I don't want us to think that way. Like, I want to think like we were before. Just as a council, we have to pass a budget, which we don't pass anymore. But anyway. Any further questions? Seeing none, I will call upon Deputy Mayor Wilson.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Bowman, that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Ingersoll receive staff report C-042-25 as information.
Discussion. One thing I did want to clarify too, and I've talked to the clerks, but there's multiple ways that the straw mayor budget can happen. I'm committing to putting on an agenda just in the way we normally do stuff for a meeting. That way it's consistent the way that we've done things in the past. So it's not just going to be mailed out to council and go, here you go. It'll be on an agenda the same way as everything else. And it'll be what we had talked about. Sorry. Yep.
Thank you. Question, I guess it's more a discussion. I'm just scrolling through, or have been scrolling through the report here, and I see there's a proposed amendment form, 2026 Strong Mayor's Budget. With regards to that, I'm glad that's in here so that we're able to print this off, fill it out however we can, and submit it back as to what our proposed amendment would be. I guess I did have a question earlier, and it would be, if I'm allowed to ask it, would we be able to talk with or consult with the department heads or directors or managers in order to kind of either confirm our thoughts or get a whole different mindset?
Yeah, I'd recommend, through yourself, Your Worship, I'd recommend reaching out to me to talk about what your area you're looking at, and can direct you to the appropriate parties, and or if we have the answers ourselves. Let's do it that way if you have any questions.
Yeah, part of the form does say consultation. Have you consulted with? And I think that's an important thing. I think the clerk's department for doing this isn't part of the mayor's directive, but I think that the more we're prepared to come together, again, I can commit, I will commit to, if 4 members of council want something in the budget, it's going to be, I'm not vetoing anything. So it's, that's the normal process. Like, so not only talk to staff, but discuss you get support from other councillors, obviously not in a quorum, but those situations. So everybody's ready to debate when those things are in front of council. Yeah, and everybody's ready to go, so.
I do have one ask. If the clerk could send the amendment form in a fillable PDF to us, that'd be awesome.
I've already created one, so I was going to send it out at the end of the evening.
Perfect, thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And that'll take us down to community development grant applications. And so I know some people have pecuniary interest on some, but not in others. So we will, survey results, sorry. My bad, we're at survey results. So number 4, did any of the... You were right first. You were right, yeah. You were right the first time. Oh, yes, I am. Okay. It's been a while since I've been in the chair, and it's been a long day. So yes, we are... Wait a minute here. Mine's backwards. Okay, so we will go... We have survey results, correct?
No.
On the agenda, it says... So I'm going to go with the agenda that is here in front of us, which is community development grants. The one on my screen, I apologize, they're flipped. So let's do that. And I will turn that over to Mr. Graves. Do you have anything to add to that before we go?
So really, this report is here to document the grants that were received and the areas that have been highlighted under the policy by staff as potentially being ineligible, and the reasoning for that. And we received some clarification here tonight from the Masons that make them more eligible. So it's really just a document that what we've received and what we've done our first review on to say, here's what meets the policies and here's what doesn't. And I don't know if the clerk has anything else to add to that.
The only thing I would add is that this is ultimately council's decision to make, so the report contains all of staff's recommendations. We met as a group to review the applications against that eligibility criteria. However, these are just recommendations, so it's just for council's information.
Just before we get into it, I will say that Councillor Hudson has the motion that will come forward, and part of that is to direct staff to require any applicants that council chooses to attend the November 24th special council meeting if we would like more information from that applicant. So as we go through each one, we don't need to make a decision tonight, but it would request that if someone would like more information from that, or if, I guess as a whole, as council wants more information from that'll be one of the questions I will ask. So for Councillor Hudson to have some clarity in the motion, but we will go through each one of them. That's what we've done in years past. And I guess that's really the question of not whether you support it tonight, would you like more information from that organization that's asked for? So Big Brothers and Big Sisters Oxford County, would anybody like to hear from that organization or have any questions about their application? I'm not seeing anything there. Cycles of Life Supportive Transitional Housing. Not seeing anything. Good for the Soul Music Festival. Okay, we'll start with Councillor Hughes, please.
Jeez, how can you forget my name? It's so short.
Van Hughes, because I just finding stuff now.
Yeah, no, it'd be good to get them in here. I know there's been a bit of a change in the structure of that scenario, so it'd be good to get them in here so that we can kind of go through what thoughts and processes are going to be.
Okay. Does everybody, can I see like maybe a nodding of heads or anything, or a consensus on that? Okay, perfect. We'll go to Igama Homes, Family Homes. Deputy Mayor Wilson, please.
Through you, it's a new application this year, so it'd just be nice to hear from them. In terms of feedback, we've committed to Safe and Well, so I'd be curious to hear kind of how that interaction is working, because that's kind of where our strategic initiatives would lie.
Okay, am I in consensus on that one? Okay. Ingersoll and District Interchurch. Seen that. Ingersoll and District Curling Club. Nope, okay. Ingersoll Pipe Band. Ingersoll Shuffleboard Club. Nope. Junior Achievement. Ontario Nature. Yes, Councillor Hallery, please.
So the question I have is, I'm sure staff has a reason for the ineligibility. I'm just wondering, is this the first time they've applied as well? Okay.
Councillor Hughes? Nope, okay. Rotary Club Christmas Parade. And Rotary Club of Ingersoll Food Warehouse? Nope. United Way of Oxford. I wouldn't mind, they've asked for an increase of funding, and so I want to kind of hear a justification for that, or their plans on that one. Is that okay with you? Okay. I think Deputy Mayor Wilson, you're good. Then we're going to swap out with Councillor Van Kooten-Bossence. Kiwanis Club of Ingersoll Putt. Okay. Go ahead.
Through you, I'd love to hear from some of the students who operate it just purely out of curiosity, and it might be a nice experience for them. Not mandatory, but I'm just throwing it out there to them that if that's possible to arrange, that might be nice.
Second that, definitely, and it'd be nice to, yeah, have a conversation with them for sure.
Christie? Or Councillor Van Kooten-Bossence. Stitch Supper Club. I see two here.
Sorry, I just realized I should declare a conflict of interest on Stitch as well, as it's also related to the food warehouse. So I'll put that in.
Yep, thank you very much. Councillor Hallery, please.
Yeah. I'm concerned about food insecurity right now based on the state of mind in the community. I'd love for Stitch to come so we can maybe have some questions that we can support, have kind of a discussion back and forth to know how they're faring. And I think it would be nice to have them and just listen to what their plans are.
Okay, anybody, Councillor Hughes?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's an increase in their fund, or their request as well, I believe, so it'll be good to be able to ask them and, see the justification in that.
Yeah, my understanding is that Stitch Supper Club has not received funding in the past.
Oh, really? So this is a new application then? Oh,
I
okay.
would also
Yeah.
second having, or third having them come in, do have concerns over the application as it doesn't meet the requirements for capital and stuff like that, so it's trying to understand that application better. I think that one's clear. Ingersoll Lions Club, a municipal portion of taxes. Oh, sorry. And we did hear from the Ingersoll Masonic Temple, but I think we're getting some information back. But anybody? Yes.
In regards to that, if we get that information back, would the ineligibility turn to eligibility and then, in that respect then?
I think that's something that staff would have to see what they give them.
Okay.
And
But
see where
then
that
it would
comes from.
come back before us then at that point? Okay, thank you.
Yep. Councillor Hallery?
So just sorry, another question about the Stitch Club. Is there room to have them respond to any questions before? Just like, because they're not here tonight, for example, is there room to ask questions and have them submit based on the rationale that we're giving?
So what I would recommend in that case is if anybody has any specific questions that they're looking for, if they could provide those to the clerk, and then the clerk can provide those to the applicant to make sure that that information is there.
Okay.
When brought forward. So, and that goes with any of them. Again, if we're asking people to come, it's good to have them have time to prepare those answers so we can move that business forward. And so Ingersoll Masonic Temple, would anybody like them to come? Sorry, we'll wait for the deputy mayor. Ingersoll Masonic Temple? No? Okay. So there's obviously, Councillor Bowman, we're done for a little bit here.
Back and forth.
So I think that, there's the staff report that's here, there's the applications that are there. I would ask that in the near future that we try to get those questions in, if you have them, forward to the clerk so they can give time for those organizations. Can we, Councillor Hudson, can you provide a list of the ones that you have on there that were, just so, I'm trying to figure out how we do this because we have pecuniary interest matters.
We should be able to do it without, in my opinion, without pecuniary interest. Because all she's doing is reading the list out.
You're just asking for information to be provided.
That's, sorry, I don't feel comfortable. Everybody's pecuniary interest is their own responsibility, and so I don't feel comfortable. I want everybody to feel comfortable that if they've declared to be able to participate or not participate, and I'm not the integrity commissioner, so I don't want to go there. So I would just ask that maybe we could do this in a couple different
You
different
certainly-
motions.
That's one option, is you could separate these into all different motions. Or you could leave them all as one motion. All those individuals would have to separate themselves and then let it be voted on by the others if they're, you know.
Let's see where, like, can you read the list of, okay. So I believe we, out of those, we would have 2 pecuniary interests, 2 members. Would those members like those separated, or would they like to be, okay. So with that, I will turn to Councillor Hudson if she's prepared to have the motion read.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Bowman, that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Ingersoll receive staff report C041-25 as information, and that Council direct staff to require the following applications to attend November 24th, 2025 special council meeting to speak to their 2026 Community Development Grant application. Good for the Soul Music Festival, Ingamo Family Homes, United Way of Oxford, Kiwanis Club of Ingersoll, Putt, and Stitch Supper Club. And further, that council direct staff to advise those same applicants that additional information as outlined in this report is required, and the applicants be requested to provide the missing information to town staff for review. And further, that staff be directed to provide a follow-up report on November 25th, 2025, council agenda summarizing and supplementary information received and including any additional comments regarding the eligibility of the applicant organizations and the proposed projects.
Thank you very much. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, we will now go to the survey results, I promise. Mr. Graves.
Thank you. As council is aware, we utilized our flash vote survey this year, and I believe we had more respondents than we've had when we've gone with the county survey, so we were delighted by that. And we got more specific findings. What I think is really interesting in this, and I think council will agree, is the survey comments at the end sort of range from a very broad range to a very small range, and it shows how difficult your job is, because you've got everything from do nothing to do everything, essentially. And that's difficult, finding a middle ground on that. So, but I still think it's a very valuable comments, and we appreciate that we were able to gather them. I don't know if Irina's got anything else that she'd like to touch on.
No, so the report is self-explanatory, and the value are in comments. I believe so, too.
Questions for staff on the report? Seeing none, I will turn to Councillor Hudson again, please.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Hughes, that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Ingersoll receive report T-022-25 as information.
Discussion. I'll certainly agree that, yeah, there's a very wide range of comments. I will note that there is quite a few of people do want things specifically done, but also want no tax increase. And that's a challenge. Obviously, we all know around here that around the horseshoe and staff that you know, to do stuff requires resources for that to get done. So, and I know where people are coming from. They're you know. I don't think anybody was taking this facetiously or anything like that. It's just providing that level of knowledge, that input that they feel, and I appreciate that. It's one of those things that are always a struggle during budget time for staff and for council to make considerations is how do you provide those services the most efficiently and effectively that way. So, yeah, always an opportunity for education as well. Any further comments or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Okay, with that, we'll go back up to our deferred report, and I will turn it back over to the treasurer, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Staff is pleased to present the draft 2026 operating and capital budget for council's consideration. This is the first budget prepared under the Strong Mayor framework, And in accordance, as mentioned before, in accordance with mayoral directive, the process includes multiple stages of review to allow meaningful discussion and participation of council and public. Tonight, staff will provide high-level overview of the budget. So I will begin with a summary of key financial highlights, and it will be followed by department heads who will present their respective departmental budgets. They will highlight major initiatives, pressures, and priorities. So the 2026 operating budget highlights. So the taxation, we're looking as presented in this first draft at 4.5% tax levy increase, or $851,000. That levy increase will result in the effective tax rate increase of 3.3%, or $74 for a median residential property assessed at $229,000. There is a number of pressures and opportunities we've accounted in the preparation of this budget. First, of course, is inflationary pressures and impact on fuel, utilities, insurance, materials, U.S. tariffs affecting Canadian-sourced equipment and supplies, new legislative compliance, labor market pressures, large industrial assessment appeals, and policing cost increases, and ongoing investments in cybersecurity and IT resilience. I would like to point, because it's the first draft, there's a number of items that is still outstanding. We don't have the information. First would be the returned roll from MPOC. So the assessment growth incorporated in this first draft is an estimate. So we are waiting for MPOC to confirm our growth numbers, and hopefully we will receive them in the next couple of weeks. OPP contract, we estimated the maximum, as per the letter received from the ministry, that it will not exceed 11% of, as we assume, last year's cost. So we incorporated the cap, that the 11% increase in this draft budget. We're also waiting on the confirmation of our group health benefits increases from Sun Life. So this draft includes an 8% increase, but we don't have the final number, so it should come in the next week or two. Same applies to town insurance, general insurance. So this draft budget contains 5% increase in communications with our insurance broker. That's what they indicated, but we are waiting on our final renewal. And of course, the community grants, as discussed tonight, we will probably see some changes in those numbers as well. Looking at revenue and expenses, so the revenues, we are forecasting modest increases in program revenues in aquatics, fitness, ice rentals, and VPCC memberships. We are also projecting a decline in our building permits revenues of about $150,000, but this projections do not impact our levy because it's a self-sustaining department, so they fund themselves, essentially. County recoveries are projected to decrease by $140,000, and it's based on capital projects that are in the pipeline for construction next year that our engineering department will help the county to manage. And the donations, we are projecting a decrease of $20,000. Supplementary taxation, the Treasury Department projects a modest increase of about $60,000. It's based on some of the developments that are currently in place that will be assessed by MPOC comes next year. The investment income is down by $90,000. It's due to the lower cash balances as we are entering the year one of the MERC construction. And of course, as we know, the government has been cutting interest rates several times this year, so the lower interest rates. Looking at expenses, the payroll, our largest expense is projected to increase by 6.9%. And it's due to step increases, COLA, that is we are proposing a 3% cost of living increase in this budget. Benefits, OMERS, there's quite a bit of uptake from our part-time contract staff on OMERS, so now they can participate, but that's of course added cost for the town. And also there is no new staff. We are not, except to additional volunteer firefighters, but no full-time staff. There's 2 positions that are converting to a permanent status from contract. That means that they will start receiving benefits from the town. Administrative expenses are up about $88,000. That would be elections are next year, so the election cost. Banking fees, we see a drastic increase in the community services area because they are using the online booking software, and people are paying by credit cards that mean quite large banking fees for the town. Professional fees are up about $27,000. We have a couple studies in the pipeline, and also the audit services are projected to increase this year. Contracted services are up $40,000. We see quite an increase in paratransit contract, and clerks department will explain when they present their budget. IT contracts and some minor add-ons like economic development. They would like to create a video to promote the town. And grants to the community groups, an increase of $25,000. It doesn't reflect what was actually submitted. The submission was over $100,000. We basically aligned the budget with the actuals, what was in fact granted this year. And policing. So as I mentioned before, 11% increase, that it's about $305,000. But if council recalls, last budget cycle, we transferred $200,000 into the policing reserve to offset this increase. So that $305,000 is offset by a transfer from reserve of $200,000. So a net impact is $105,000. And transfers from reserves are up $448,000. Again, it's to offset specific costs, studies, elections. The policing, the $200,000 for policing is part of the $448,000. And we also revised our transfers to reserves to fund the capital, decreased it by $150,000. We looked at our 10-year forecast, capital forecast, and the reserve balances, current reserve balances, and we're able to find that that reduction. And there is no debt, new debt projected for 2025. We actually paid off yet another debenture that resulted in a savings of about $90,000. So looking at the capital budget, it's magnificent budget of $34 million, but as you can imagine, the MERC is a big part of it. The funding sources for the capital budget would be reserves of $18 million, reserve funds that include development charges and the gas tax reserve fund of $1.3 million, grants and fundraising, and that includes a big grant we just received of roughly $2.5 million. Land sales, we have a couple that most likely will materialize next year, and county contributions. And about $1.8 million are carry forward projects that already have funding available in the reserves. Some key projects, of course, is the Merck Year 1 construction. We also look at playground upgrades, trails, new trails, Memorial Park bench shell, some upgrades at our Victoria Park Community Center. There are a couple of street reconstruction, bridge rehabs, public works fleet update, HVAC replacement at the Fusion Center, the museum exterior and roof replacement, and the elevator replacement at this facility. And just to highlight the next steps, so tonight we are presenting the first draft. Council will take this draft, review, and if they would like to propose any amendments, they will have to be submitted to the clerk's department by November 19 in order for me to include it into the next draft to reflect those amendments that will be presented on November 24th. And then on November 24th, I believe council will have deliberations considering those amendments. And hopefully the final amended draft reflecting all council direction will be presented on December the 8th. And now, if council has any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them, or we can move on to the departmental reviews.
So just for clarification, some of the information still won't be available, I believe, like OPP billing dates like November 26th. So that's my understanding, if I remember the dates correctly. So some of that information may not be, it's going to be updated as you get the information, but there's going to be a time frame that's outside of some, like, there's externalities at play here that will have effects on the budget.
Yes, but I anticipate we most likely will have everything from MPOC, OPP by November. Like, typically it comes mid-November. But if we don't, of course, we don't. Then we will have to wait till December 8th meeting.
So I will, just before I open the floor to questions from council, I would just say that obviously we're at the early stages. There's time. I know there's a plan there, but again, just like every other year, I want council to feel comfortable. My hope is that we can have that fulsome discussion, and then when that is tabled, then we've done the pre-work already, and then we can cut down those timelines. Because even afterwards, they're still got to get votes anyway, so we might as well do it at a time. I'd rather have an extra meeting in between there if we need to. So I don't want anybody to feel rushed. Again, the timelines are there so they can be incorporated into the budget document so we can see those effects and have that deliberation on those items as a council. But again, certainly the quicker we get this, especially on the capital side and stuff, staff can go to work getting those projects done. We get certainty that way, but certainly want everybody to feel comfortable and that they understand what's there. So again, I will answer ask if there's any questions about the report tonight. But yeah, we have some time to digest and ask staff and talk to each other about this. Like I said, not in quorum, but have those discussions. I can't say that enough, of just talk and make sure everybody understands what everybody wants to do and where they want to go. Yeah, so I'll talk to council and say, any questions? Okay. No, and there will be, obviously. So it's one of those things where it takes a while to get the juices flowing, and yeah, it's a challenging year. So with that, if there is no more from staff or council, I'll call on Councillor Van Kooten-Bossence, please. Oh, Councillor Halleru, please.
I thought we were listening to department heads.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry, nope.
Yes, we have department heads ready to present their respective budget. Just give a brief overview.
Okay, yeah, no, sorry, I got mistaken. I thought we were going to do a fulsome one later on, though.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and we will start with the CEO.
And of course, the first department listed under this is council. The notes are there for it, so you can see what some of the highlights are for that. That's really your area of budget, so I'm not going to.
So maybe I will, I know that talking to staff that they know the situation that we're going through right now with our largest employer, obviously with the news out of CAMI and the rest of the community, and I know they've gone through and looked at a various amount of things. So I guess my challenge to council would be that we do the same. We set our budget, and so again, there is no year-to-date there, though, but I would request that our treasurer provide that to all of council to kind of get where we are, and then we do what we can with our budget as well to see that staff have already done, but in the time that we're in, so that way we have the information, because we were the ones that really control that budget. So let's say that on that, and then I'll turn it over to you for the CAO.
Yeah, so then the next budget up, of course, is the CAO budget. One of the things you'll see here, one of the biggest reductions in professional fees, as we have moved through the strategic plan, we're starting to complete some of those processes, so we don't need as many consultants to assist us in completing some of those projects. And that should be the typical way this will go. We do a strategic plan shortly after the election, set our goals by the end of the election or by the end of the term. We're sort of wrapping those up. And so we don't have too many more to go to wrap up. We are trying to do some of the ancillary things and projects that council's given us so that by the end of the term we can put a bow on those. So that is declining, which it should normally do. And I don't want to alarm anyone, but we are looking at this area to see if we can replace all staff by AI.
Please don't.
Other than that, I don't have any other comments on this budget.
Any questions for the CAO's budget at this time? Seeing none, we'll continue. Clerks.
Thank you. So I'll just take a few minutes to highlight the department's core services and some of the challenges we're facing, and then a few key accomplishments as they relate directly to this year's budget. So in the clerk's department, we deliver many of the corporate and statutory services, so we ensure compliance with provincial legislation, local bylaws, and provide direct support to council, its committees, staff, and the public. Our main responsibilities include preparing agendas and minutes, managing bylaws and corporate records, overseeing licensing, elections, crossing guards, and paratransit services, and ensuring open and accessible governance. Our staffing remains stable, as you'll see in the budget, with 4 full-time positions budgeted through 2026, supported by a short-term co-op student who we anticipate and hope will assist with special projects, whether that's onboarding the cemetery, digitization, and records cleanup. That's to be determined just based on priorities and demands within the department. For challenges like many departments, we face growing demands with limited staff resources. So legislative change, as you all know, is constant. We're here talking about the new Strong Mayor budget process. So we're finding ourselves having to continually adapt to new provincial requirements, including Strong Mayor powers and expanded reporting, which require ongoing training and process updates. Second, service expectations continue to rise, so council residents rightly expect timely, transparent access to records and strong protections for privacy and accessibility, which you've seen in a lot of our reports in trying to move forward our records compliance, moving towards open government. So those are some of the things that we're focused on. And third, with the new procedure bylaw adding a potential second council meeting each month, our preparation, attendance, and follow-up workload is expected to increase. So we'll have to manage that in 2026. Looking ahead at the possible adoption of the DEI action plan to be presented at the November council meeting, we'll also place additional demands on staff time, as many of those initiatives are identified to be shared between clerks and human resources. We also will assume the operational responsibilities of the Ingersoll Rural Cemetery, and in addition, 2026 is an election year, so typically requires significant investment of staff time and budget resources. All of these factors add pressure that we will absorb within our existing staffing, as I've noted, and we'll continue to manage them through careful planning and prioritization. So 2026 in the Clerk's Department is really identified as a year of observation to determine the extent to which these additional responsibilities, will impact available resource and opportunities for efficiencies. As a result, there are no substantial increases requested by the 2026 Clerk's Department budget, aside from the expected increase resulting from the 2026 municipal election. So I've touched on some of the accomplishments of the department. We're really proud of the new procedure bylaw that everybody is now using, all of the progress we've made in electronic records management. The department also, through the deputy clerk, has taken over oversight of the OPP Detachment Board, and so we've assumed all administrative oversight within that department. It was previously a responsibility handled by the secretary who stepped down when the former Police Services Board was dissolved. For 2026, we'll continue to advance the electronic records management and open government initiatives, and we'll continue to build a strong foundation for innovation, try to leverage those tools that we already have available, like our electronic records management system. We are struggling with the increase to paratransit. It's a difficult one. We see an increase in subscribers as well as an increase in operating costs, and a number of new subscribers who are very high frequency users. We are limited in being able to restrict access to paratransit under human rights. So we are looking at different ways that we can manage those costs, but it is a challenge for 2026 and beyond for sure. With that, I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions of the clerk. Councillor Halleru, please.
All right, thank you for that, Danielle. Just a curiosity here. The revenue from permits, I noticed, went down a little bit. Like, how significant is that? And I assumed that there will be a remittance to municipalities for that, so that we're not getting anything back. It's just gone to the province now.
So which?
For revenues on licenses that have begun to gradually decrease because of the provincial online portal.
Oh, okay. Through the mayor to Councillor Halleru. So when Ingersoll first signed up for, I think you're referring to the marriage licenses, and we had a drastic increase. When Ingersoll first signed up to be part of the online portal, we were one of the first municipalities to be onboarded in. At that time, the province lacked some guidance as to, you can still go to your local municipality, and so we saw a drastic increase in the sale of our marriage licenses as being part of that first round of municipalities that were within the online portal. So we had anticipated a decrease in that revenue as more municipalities were onboarded. The province updated the language within the online portal to say you can still go to your local municipality, you just have to reach out to them. So this is an anticipated decrease.
Any further questions? Seeing none, I will call upon HR now, please.
I will present HR. So the HR, as we know, it's all about people, attracting, retaining talent, supporting growth and development, building a positive culture that reflects the town's value and strategic plan. Over the past year, they've made meaningful progress. The 2024 pay equity review was completed and implemented, ensuring fairness and compliance across all positions. Through the Employee Engagement Committee, staff initiated such as new initiatives such as family skates, newsletters, team building activities, that have helped strengthen connections and morale across departments. Looking ahead, they continue to face some pressures. So the competitive job market means that they must continue to evaluate compensation and total rewards to stay competitive, and ongoing legislative changes, updates to the Employment Standard Act, Bill 149, that all requires staff's time commitment to update policies and communicate those policy updates to staff. In terms of the budget, the increase in 2026 is mainly the result of staffing changes. The payroll administrator position that currently reports under the Treasury Department will be transferred under the HR umbrella starting 2026. We also have a health and safety coordinator position in the full-time capacity. Now it's full-time permanent, or not. Yeah, I believe it is already. And the HR manager, she returned from her maternity leave that reflects a full year of wages for HR manager. Also, several committees' budgets have been transferred to the HR department, including the Health and Safety Committee, Accessibility Committee, and also Employee Assistance Program was managed under, in prior years, was budgeted under the Clerk's Department and now has been transferred to the HR department. And also, they would like to see some investment into recruitment tools, such as job fair materials, specialized job boards. We all know advertising costs money, not a lot, but there's some allowance for that. And they also would like to see a new applicant tracking system implemented that will improve the efficiency and attract and help the HR to attract and go through the resumes, because sometimes we receive over 200 resumes, and that would definitely help to sort through and select the top talent. Looking forward, HR will continue advancing policy modernization, health and safety, strategy development, and employee engagement and recognition initiatives. And they also are preparing for contract negotiations in 2020, union contract negotiations. So if council has any questions, comments, I will be more than happy. And we also have a HR manager here. She may be a better person to answer those questions.
Thank you very much. Questions of the HR department at this time? Oh, Councillor Halleru, please.
Thank you, through you. Just a question of, there was a recruitment that we were doing early this year, trying to find someone that would also take some responsibility for DEI initiatives with the committee. Was that, I'm not able to say, I know if we completed that hire. Yeah, I don't know if the question is for the clerk. Yeah, thank you.
Through the mayor to Councillor Halleru. So we had attempted to hire and made a couple offers and were ultimately turned down. At that point, we pivoted to hiring the consultant who you're familiar with, Culture Ally, who did that work on behalf of the town.
Any other questions at this time? Seeing none, we will continue to information technology, please.
That will be me again. The Information Technology Department is a backbone of our town services, responsible for planning, maintaining, and securing our technology infrastructure. Our IT team, that consists of 2 employees, ensures that all network systems, computers, hardware, software applications, and digital tools are operating efficiently, safely, and secure across every department. Over the past year, the IT department has achieved several accomplishments. They've implemented town-wide fiber rollout, connecting basically every major facility in town. So the last was the fire hall, the public works garage, and the old arena. So that just now all in unified network of all our facilities, and that provides for seamless public Wi-Fi access and also secure access for staff. They also launched identity and access management platform that centralizes and staff access to town system, and it enhances cybersecurity and operational efficiency. So looking ahead, with the continuing cybersecurity threats, this is the main, this remains significant, and it's on the forefront of our IT department to ensure that we are protected as a town. The shift towards cloud services introduces ongoing operational costs and reduces in-house control over infrastructure, creating challenges for audits and custom integrations. There is also substantial opportunities. So the digital transformation, achieving cost efficiencies through automation. We're not going to replace the CEO with AI, but we are looking ahead, modernizing our infrastructure and security, and also enhancing internal collaboration and breaking down the silos. So looking at the special projects for 2026, they're planning the digital infrastructure for the MERC, including network access controls, digital signage, and surveillance system. They also are enabling seamless remote work for all staff through modern network architecture and cloud solutions. So basically that is in place, not that the staff will work remotely, but it will ensure service continuity if the emergency arises. And also reducing silos, improving efficiencies, and strengthening security across the town. There is no staffing changes projected for this department in 2026. However, the budget includes increases in Google Workspace, Microsoft Office 365 licenses. Of course, they include new equipment such as laptops, monitors, keyboards. Also, the biennial cybersecurity testing is in the budget for 2026. It has to be done for us in order to renew our cybersecurity coverage. And also provide some additional funds for that extended fiber connections that include some extra facilities now, the public works, the fire hall, and the arena. Any questions regarding the IT budget?
Yep, Councillor Halleru, please.
So I have a question regarding the increase in little budget for 2026 and up to 2027. Is it reflective of things we've already done, like I'm looking at maybe the identity access management that we already did, is that what's making it increase? Or did we identify any new infrastructure that we're going to need to go up? Because I see operating expenses going up. The contracted services are also going up, and maintenance contracts are going up, so I'm wondering.
Yes, so the operating expenses, as I mentioned, some increases in the cost of Microsoft Office 365 licenses. So that's included, that's the increase reflected of that. Of course, the cost of the equipment, laptops, keyboards, monitors are also going up, so that's reflected in that as well. So for the contracted services, that's the test, the cyber penetration test. That's the $8,500. That's the cost of the testing. And the maintenance contracts are up $7,300 is, again, for the fiber connections, they all have a cost attached to that. So we'll have to just pay a little bit extra in the intranet and fiber connection costs.
Just as a tip or reminder that if they're a large increase, they'll have a note attached to them that's provided to give that clarity as we go through. It's hard. It's one of those things that there are those questions, and I would, if there is any that don't have that note, I'm sure staff can provide the information as well. But I'll go back to Councillor Halleroux, please.
Yeah, it was nice to hear the clarity between those three because I couldn't break down which ones considered, say, changes. What about software? Like you mentioned AI, and of course we're serious about it. A lot of companies are doing that assessment to see where they can save money and improve processes with AI. Is that part of our 2-year plan? Because here we're talking just 2026. I know it's our breakdown in budget, but are we considering savings in some way, like ERP systems versus AI, or what are we doing in that respect so that we can know where to find it in the budget?
Well, the savings with AI, it doesn't come for free. So if we want to use the platforms and utilize some solutions, they all have attached cost, like an annual subscription cost. And so we are considering the AI for other, like not necessarily that
Like customer
wouldn't necessarily decrease our cost, but rather than increase our efficiency, so it doesn't increase cost further. So we are looking at that, but this is new, AI is new. We need to be super careful what we are implementing. I know that IT department has prepared the AI, like the policy that actually, yes, governs that area. So once we implement the policy, we can start looking into that area more, in more detail, more carefully.
And that's what I would add to that is there is a risk, especially dealing with sensitive information and what kind of AI system that you're using. I think one good example of AI is something we already did this year is the engineering department. And maybe, Mr. Sweetland, you could expand upon, because now that you've done the Earl Street project, what that did for productivity.
Yeah, I'd be pleased to. That was the Timescapes technology camera that we put up on Earl Street. We realized some very quick gains on that one, saving probably, I estimate, about 3 hours of staff time per day just on that, by having that camera set up alone, where typically an inspector would have to be the first one on site to see who's there, tracking hours and equipment use, where now you can do that remotely. Look at the camera. It can automatically recognize what equipment's being used, who's on site. It allowed greater transparency with contractors for change orders and making sure honesty between the owner, the inspector, the contractor, and even just that transparency with contractor forces. They can see their crews working. So the site super doesn't need to be on site the whole time, reduce hourly costs for everybody involved. So that was a great benefit this year that we'd like to see on future projects as well.
Mr. Graves first, and then.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just further that, I appreciate Matt's comments there, and all kidding aside, we are looking at how we can utilize AI to create more efficiencies, even in the CAO department. And while there are a lot of departments that are looking at that, and they've found a few ways already that they can improve efficiency. Most of it really isn't a huge cost savings, but it's more of that efficiency creation. And so we'll continue to do that, but there are some caveats with that. And we're trying to make sure that we develop a policy that's safe and prudent as we move forward through this.
Thank you. The reason I'm going to ask is because I know that if we're going to consider AI in areas that are really, I'm concerned about our customer service as a place where we can utilize AI very much. And I'm wondering if we can, in this budget, have an idea of what the cost will look like so that it's something that we can project future, even if we're not doing it now. I just wondered if we wanted to see that. Is that something that we would request to see in this budget, say if we're doing it up to next year and beyond?
So the budget is a plan for this year's business, and so that may be a request for a future report.
Okay.
If we're not going to implement it this year, and that may be a hard one to implement this year, I would just say, because the policy hasn't been brought forward. I know that staff are looking for it, but I think that the AI that's been planned for this year would be in the budget.
Okay.
But I don't think that's, that's one of those things where we get the policy and then.
And then the budget. Okay.
Yeah. Any further questions on the information technology? Do want to keep things moving here, but I did want to highlight the seamless remote work. The county had a water break, and because they had they were in the process of having remote work done because of the renovations to the building, that was able to, because that system was in place, the service level didn't drop because of the emergency that took place. So we got a report back on that. A 10-cent part cost $500,000 in damage, which is usually the way, but the service level didn't decrease, and staff were able to pivot because of that system was in place. So I highly thank staff for looking at that, being able to, don't have to use it, but being able to do that to maintain service level in emergency is very important, and would go a long way for maintaining our service levels. So, any other comments on that? If anybody's interested in the report, it's on, I can get it for you. It's on one of the agendas. Okay, with that, we'll go to the Treasury Service, please. That will be you, Irina.
Thank you. Well, our responsibility, all payments, receipts, property tax billing and collection, preparing staff recommended budgets, overseeing cash flow, debt and investment, and also preparing financial reports in compliance with the PSAP standards. And we also maintain internal controls. Over the past year, Treasury has, we transitioned to the paperless process as much as we can, including, so basically we've converted all our daily deposit records to paperless, so now everything is digitally stored in Laserfish. We implemented electronic property tax billing, which we try to promote to our community that people take advantage. It saves cost, it saves money. People have their tax bills at their discretion at home, so they don't have to request any copies for additional $5 each copy. So that's very good. We also implemented new accounts payable system, which just to echo the conversation about the AI, it's somewhat a smart system because it reads all the invoices and pre-populates all the fields. So it does produce, it costs us a little bit of money, but it's extremely well received by all staff. It saves so much time, not just for the Treasury Department, but for all departments in town. So we are pleased to have it implemented last year. And we also extended resident payment options. So now we do accept Visa and MasterCard. We have e-transfer payments, and it's all provided to our residents with no additional cost for the town. So looking ahead, we all facing this inflationary pressures just as a town as a whole. We're looking at U.S. tariffs. We're also looking at large assessment appeals and the recent news. Legislative changes, including amendments into the Development Charges Act that will reduce the town's ability to recover growth-related capital costs. and also rising insurance premiums, not just for the general town insurance, but the employee health benefits. Looking at opportunities, so the Treasury Department is looking at revenue diversification. So we are initiating the review of fees, service agreements, and other funding sources to reduce our reliance on the taxation. Risk management and long-term planning, so particularly in asset management, the large assessment appeals, the debt management and safeguarding of the town's financial position, and funding and grants efforts. We're also looking at opportunities that we can seek additional funding from federal and provincial governments. So looking at the key projects, unfortunately, our current ERP system will reach end of its life cycle at the end of 2029, so we won't have any support offered by Microsoft. So now we are looking at initiating a process to replace the system. So we are in the process of selection. So there is no additional cost as we look into 2026 or 2027, but the 2028 budget will reflect what that additional cost will be. And we will continue promoting our paperless billing and our paperless internal processes. So looking at the budget, as I mentioned before, decrease in investment income, again, due to the low cash balances and interest rates, reassignment of the payroll administrator to the HR department. We anticipate increases in our insurance, town insurance. The OMPF funding continues to decline. That's all reflected in the Treasury budget. And we also included a provision, a placeholder to reflect the transition of the Ingersoll Cemetery under the town jurisdiction. So there is a $150,000 budget for that future town department. And if council has any questions, I will be more than happy to answer.
Any questions from council on this section? Seeing none, we do have quite a few items to get through, and I want to make sure that we have an overview of at least everything tonight. Feel free to be as brief as you like, and if council needs more, then council ask. Other words, we are going to get into this more and certainly talk with staff and stuff to get, as you get into it, into those areas. But
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we get, our
Yes,
heads are still
okay.
all here.
I will speed
and that
up,
we can
yeah.
take in that information. Or we start from the bottom and work up.
So the next is town hall. There's not much to say. We share the town hall with with the county. So it's pretty much business as usual. We have one project is elevator modernization for completion in 2026. And we're also looking, because one of the pressures we're running out of space. So we're definitely looking at, we've added few new offices this year. So in the next year or two, we'll be looking at perhaps converting the basement into the office space if needed. That's it.
Councillor Halleran, please.
Hi, thank you. What percentage of the basement is office space right now? I know IT is downstairs.
Well, it's 50, well, some of the county utilizes some of it. They have some library staff that operates out of the basement, but our IT department is in the basement currently, yes.
So there is room to grow?
I can't assign a percentage to it, but it's basically, let's say, 3 offices in
Okay.
the basement, yeah.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Nope, please continue.
And the next, just looking at my, next will be the fire department.
All right. Well, I'll keep this as brief as I possibly can. So there's a couple of challenges that are driving some budget increases. They are the mandatory certification of firefighters in the province. That is our first benchmark, if you want to call it that, is July of next year. The good news is that we're way ahead of the curve. We've got almost 100% of our firefighters trained and certified, except for any new recruits that come along in most disciplines, but that also will present some challenges in the future because there are minimums in some of the testing and the provincial testing and some of the classes. So as you certify more of your firefighters, you have less personnel to train and certify, which makes it challenging to find places for them to train and certify, if that makes sense. So in future, our training costs may go up because we may have to send them places to train them and certify them. Staff turnover is a never-ending revolving situation. The provincial average for a firefighter to remain in service is about 5 years now. With the mandatory certification, any new recruit is allowed 3 years to achieve the certification that he needs. And if he only remains for 5 years, that cycle just continues to go on and on forever. And then there's equipment costs and repair costs that are always going up. Unfortunately, about 90% of the equipment in the fire service comes out of the US, so we're always fighting against the Canadian versus American dollar. We will have a pumper to replace in 2028, so our transfers to reserve, we're increasing them just a little bit this year in order to make sure that we have enough money in reserves to fund the replacement of that truck in 2028. And we are increasing our staffing level in our volunteer services by 2 again this year, which was part of the 3-year plan, 25, 26, and 27, to increase our numbers, which will hopefully take some of the pressure off of the training requirements, the staff turnover. By increasing our numbers, we can absorb some of that work if people are only staying for 5 years, and we can kind of compensate for that, always that turnover with a few more people. In building services, there's a few, well, the county is requiring backflow preventers on all the buildings, so both of those buildings have to be outfitted, so that's a little bit of an increase in maintenance costs for next year. And I think that's about all of the highlights in my budget.
Okay, questions of fire? Not seeing any right now. We will now go to OPP. Or we'll go to the next one that...
Yes, so the OPP, I already explained it twice, so it's 11% increase. There is also OPP detachment board budget as part of the policing budget. So there is not much change as we look at the OPP detachment budget. However, they propose to purchase 3 bicycles to support the Oxford OPP detachment bike patrol program. So it's believed that it will increase police visibility and improve accessibility to areas less accessible through vehicular patrols. And apparently recent bike patrols have received a positive feedback, and that's why the OPP Detachment Board is proposing to purchase 3 bicycles for the OPP.
Just a question to their OPP detachment board members. Are these going to be pedal assist e-bikes or are these regular bikes?
They'll just be regular pedal bikes. Apparently, the OPP haven't finished their pilot project with the e-bikes, so they're not putting anything behind that right now.
Okay. And has the the detachment board reached out to the Safe Cycling Committee on this?
I'm on the police detachment board. I'm also on the Safe Cycling as well. So I believe the Safe Cycling are also looking at possibly doing 2 bikes. I believe there is 14 officers that are trained for bicycle patrol, for the Oxford detachment, not just at Ingersoll. So that would be, I think, a very good opportunity for us as Ingersoll to push it a little more here in Ingersoll, that they patrol on bike as opposed by foot.
Okay. Thank you. We can have further conversations and questions later on that. I will have. But no, appreciate the answers on that, and I'll turn it back over.
That would be it for the OPP detachment and policing. And the next would be the building department, I believe.
Through you, Mayor, to Council, so I can provide you with a brief overview of the department for the year, as well as some of the accomplishments, challenges, and forecasts in the future as we move forward. Very quickly, we have issued permits to the end of September is 134. With projected permits to December 31st of somewhere between 165 to 170. Current permit fees collected to September 30th is approximately $400,000. And anticipated projected to December 31st is somewhere around $430,000 to $440,000. This amounts to an increase in fees collected of approximately 35 to 40% over the 2023 and 2024 years. Our current 2025 and estimated 2026 budgets are approximately $500,000 for the department. And we are currently projecting lower permit fees for 2026, but are aware it is difficult to project based on current economic conditions. As a reminder to Council about our department, from a budget perspective, the department operates on a full cost recovery model. We are not on the general tax base. Our reserve account is currently healthy, and we are in a strong financial position. Our currently reserve account is used to offset any budget shortages in lean years, and then gets built back up in good years when fees collected are higher than the department budget. Currently, to the end of 2025, our estimated reserve account will be approximately $700,000. Some of the accomplishments this year for us was the Wallace Line Business Park has started up, which is owned by 214 Carson Co. They have already broken ground on 2 of their blocks, if anyone has driven by there. And they hope to start full construction on the corner lot, which is Block 8, in the early spring. ArcelorMittal construction on Newman is well underway with an anticipated occupancy from them of August or September of 2026. The IMT expansion was completed and occupancy was fully granted to them. And the New Earth building on Thomas is progressing well. And while we don't have a solid occupancy date from them yet, they are anticipating occupancy in 2026. So under challenges for 2026, the short-term forecast for construction starts throughout the balance of 2025 and into the spring of 2026 continues to be challenging. The current weak economy and uncertainty surrounding tariffs and the U.S.-Canada relationship is being felt in the construction sector and generally in terms of low demand and higher cost to construction companies, which is curbing their desire to move forward with projects. There was a decent rebound in new house starts in 2024 over 2023, but 2025 has seen a downturn again. New home starts for 2026 looks to start on a challenging note. There continues to be a need long-term for more housing, and we remain hopeful that 2026, as we progress through it, we'll see more people enter into the market. Past housing slowdowns throughout the years that I've been involved in, going back into the 90s, have shown that when the market turns upward, it generally will move quickly, as there is usually a pent-up demand at that point. On the industrial sector, we are hopeful to rebound as well in 2026 as the uncertainty over the economy and U.S. relations becomes resolved and costs stabilize. Zoning and planning applications in all sectors continue to be robust, and the hope is that these approvals will translate into construction projects in 2026. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them for you.
Any questions of the building department? This time, thank you very much. I'll turn it back over to the treasurer.
Infrastructure and development.
Yes, thank you. Yes, good evening, Mayor and members of Council. I appreciate this opportunity to present the engineering and public works portions of the budget. So 2025 was a very productive year for both departments. In capital infrastructure renewal, as Mike noted, we did see a reduction in private residential development, but that did in turn translate into stronger competition amongst servicing contractors. So we did see Pemberton Street and Earl Street come in to the tune of about $500,000 under budget between those two projects. So we did see some efficiencies from that downturn in the market overall on the capital side of things. In public works operating, full under control maintenance levels were maintained from minimum maintenance standards. That's targeted through pre-season inspections and good fleet maintenance to continue those programs. We had newly adopted engineering and development review policies that have significantly reduced turnaround times for improved efficiencies for applications, which helps maintain Council's goal of maintaining a development-ready community so we can potentially see these market upturns realized once we see this turnaround. So we'll continue to integrate data from these capital projects into town's asset management plans and improve life cycle forecasting for a data-driven approach to capital prioritization. 2026 infrastructure capital program does invest around $4 million across 36 total projects, which include Wanham Street South reconstruction and John Street reconstruction, along with bridge and retaining wall rehabilitations. Workforce capacity does remain a sector-wide challenge, so this year's operating budget does reinforce succession planning and professional development and technical training so we can maintain these in-house engineering services as well. So we have some special initiatives which strengthen our technical foundation and position for the town with smarter evidence-based decision-making. In asset management, integrating condition scoring for bridges and culverts and fleet assets will enhance this capital planning accuracy and ensure alignment with provincial reporting standards. We have the replacement of GPS data collection equipment due to the legacy 3G systems being decommissioned. So in order so that we can continue getting topographic surveys in-house, reducing those consulting costs by upgrading these systems. So in closing, 2025 demonstrated disciplined execution and modernization in these challenging conditions, and 2026 focuses on sustaining these services, investing in people and data, and reinvesting in the town's infrastructure foundation for the next decade to come. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of the engineering development at this time? I'll turn it back over to the treasurer. Thank you.
The next would be community services. In Kyle's absence, I will just very briefly looking at the accomplishments. They've installed a new splash pad, some new features. They've upgraded pool dehumidifier, you know, that very grand project for our Victoria Park Community Center. And they also were installed a new filtration systems, launched a new pickup hub. So I understand it's an online platform where people can register for drop-in programs at all of the parks and rec facilities. Upgraded fusion center with a new rooftop unit, and replaced playground equipment in Jim Robbins and Woodhatch parks. Looking at the special projects for 2026, they're looking at upgrading the Memorial Park playground, bench shell restoration. They also help to manage, it supervise projects completed at the town hall. So it's one of the areas they oversee. And of course, the planning and year one of construction of the MERC. That's the main project. Some of the other highlights, there is no additional staff proposed for that department. There's a little bit of an increase in part-time wages and time requirements, particularly in programs and not the fitness aquatics. The camping site operations used to be budgeted under the community services. That budget has been transferred under the museum umbrella. The banking charges, as I mentioned before, we see significant increase because of the uptake and of online bookings and payment through credit cards. What else? That's about it. So if council has any questions or concerns or clarifications, I will be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions from council at this time on community services? It's a large one. Continue, please.
Yes, the next department, I believe, would be economic development and the museum.
Thanks very much. So always happy to talk about my department. And we're truly lucky to have great staff, both at the museum and in economic development. So the museum I'm going to start with, the museum saw a lot of successes. We've increased attendance. We've seen an increase in sales at the gift shop. And recently we were awarded a Oxford Tourism Award for the Mystic Market event, which was nice to receive that accolade. So significantly increasing our visitors year over year, and forecasting another increase this year. Last year was a banner year, but 2025 we're hoping to exceed that, both in regular visitors as well as events. The biggest, I guess, challenges and pressures is the infrastructure. So we've got some capital projects that we're forecasting for this year, including replacing the roof of the main building, improving the HVAC system, and doing some interior repairs. So we're going to coordinate it so that we have as low impact to operations as possible, and we're going to do it as smart as we can. So we'll update the exhibits as we perform the upgrades. Also, in 2025, we were unsuccessful for one summer student, so it ends up being a reduction in cost to have summer students. So we're budgeting for a summer student in case we're unsuccessful with grants. And we're also going to be applying for grants for some of the other repairs that are required in the infrastructure at the museum, so that we can ensure that we can maintain operations and our artifacts aren't degrading, and other health and safety issues. We, as council knows, council adopted the museum enhancement plan, so we're going to be using that as our guiding document. We're going to be looking at a brand update, increasing engagement and experience, and ensuring we're sustainable, as well as improving our collections and digitizing them using software. So if anybody has any questions, the main budget variations are due to the transfers of camping in Santa's Village to the management of the museum. Any questions on museum?
Questions this time? None? Please continue.
Then I'll move on to economic development. So again, we're lucky to have a team of rock stars in economic development. So the economic development department includes marketing and communications. Obviously, there's a lot of challenges right now in economic development, so we're going to face some hurdles. We've successfully attracted over 1 million square feet in the last few years. Mike mentioned some of the major industries that are either in construction or nearing completion. One of the challenges that we're going to face is that we don't have control over industrial land. It's all privately owned now, so that's going to cause us some challenges, because ultimately there's an owner that can determine the sale of land. It's out of council's control. But we'll work closely with private developers to ensure that we can continue to diversify our economy away from some of the major employers. The biggest opportunities that we see in economic development are defense, manufacturing, and food processing. And so we're placing a big effort into trying to attract new investment that will help diversify our economy with the impacts to our major employer. Through communications and marketing, we're placing a large effort on consistency across various channels, trying to get the same look and feel. This budget document, for example, was a lot of the graphics and things like that were done by the marketing officer to try to improve the look, and I think she did a great job. So basically, there's nothing too major as far as budget impacts this year. We're going to update a couple videos. So one of the videos that we're using right now for promotion of the town uses a clip of Equinox production, for example. That's outdated. And then our main foreign direct investment attraction website is ideallocation.ca. It's been gaining attraction. We did it on a shoestring budget where we did it in-house. Our economic development officer did it herself. So looking at making it more professional, and we do generate leads through that website. So just trying to modernize it and make it a bit more professional. Outside of that, there's no major budget changes in that department. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on economic development this time? Seeing none, I'll turn it back over.
And that concludes our presentation of the budget of the first draft.
Are there any questions in general of the report now that we've kind of gone through the whole thing? Obviously, a lot to take in, a lot of information. As we get into every year, you know, this is our third budget or fourth budget? Third. It's always weird on that one. So we're starting to get some, you know, some people have a lot of experience. And at least everybody's getting some experience, right? So it's one of those things where, yeah, it takes time to get to the understanding. And again, we have great resources with staff here to be able to answer any questions as we go through. Councillor Halleru.
Thank you. First, I have a comment. I just really enjoyed the way you guys presented this, especially keynotes like putting money in reserve because you're anticipating something next year, making it easy to understand how we're even working through the budget. I missed a little bit of yours, but I can see the excitement that, you know, we've done a lot with this. My question is, I heard earlier when Councillor Hughes asked about asking questions of staff, say if we had personal questions, but, you know, CAO wanted us to direct that at him. But is there the specific point in the form where it says consulting, like treasurer, is that still available, say if we had questions at any time?
Yeah, I'd just say, reach out to me first with sort of outline what your question is, and I'll make sure you're directed to the right place. So then when you do fill out the form, you can say, yeah, I talked to whoever those people are.
All right,
Now, just for
thanks.
clarification, if you had questions just of clarification in the department report, I'll say my plan is to go through and make a whole list for everything at once and try to make it as, and I'll provide that to the CAO. Is that what your preferred method would be that way? Or would you like individual departments?
Sorry, I'm not sure I'm understanding.
So what I'm planning on doing is I've got a spreadsheet going, and so as I go through the budget document, if there's questions for each individual department, but to hand those in all at once as a comprehensive kind of thing. And I guess to try to make it as easy as possible, because again, there's 7 of us. There's going to be questions probably from everybody, I'd imagine, on the document. So trying not to overwhelm staff. And again, I know it's been past practice that if there's one question, the answer is provided to everyone for clarity. So maybe my guess is there's probably going to be some overlap on. So it might be easier just to try to get those in. But again,
Yep, that's fine.
I just want to get the preference of what you would like as CAO.
Yeah, no, and I'm just thinking, like, when we're talking about the form, you're talking about a proposed change. So I would say start with me first as CAO and sort of talk about what you're looking at, and then I can direct you to the various departments. So almost always you're going to have some consultations going to be both with me and the department. So that's what, but if it's just general questions of clarification on their budget, I don't think you necessarily have to go through me. So that could be something you could talk to the department. So
I would prefer those questions floating through me so I can coordinate the responses. So some questions I may be able to answer without bothering them. Yeah.
Not seeing any, I will turn it over to Councillor Van Kooten-Bossence, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Mayor Wilson that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Ingersoll receive the 2026-27 multi-year budget update as information.
Thank you very much. Discussion on that. Like I said before, we received a lot of information tonight, and in the document, I think there's a lot in there, and it's a good thing, and the format's good, and there's lots to think about. Certainly, you know, it's a different time than when we started our term, to say the least. There's a lot of things that are different, from coming out of COVID to different economic times and basically a whole new world. So there's different challenges are there, and I thank staff for providing, you know, they always do a great job of providing that first draft, but now it's our job to go out and understand that and look at things and, you know, I got to be honest, it's going to be, I'm trying to remain optimistic, but we're in a world where there's not a lot of certainty and unknown out there. And so it's one of those things where I think that staff and council will be very proud of what's been achieved over the last, we've achieved a very high level over the last of this term. And I certainly don't want to lose that, but I want to be cognizant of the world that we're in now and try to preserve that. So it's certainly a challenging budget year. As we try to do the biggest infrastructure project the town's ever done in a time where our largest employer, we don't know, we're waiting for them to go back to work to now we're waiting for something that, a new challenge to try to find something happen there. So we know the challenges that is. So again, it's going to be one of those ones where I know everybody's going to put in a lot of time and effort. I look forward to working with everybody. Again, I'm going to be banging on people's doors too, because I'm the same point. I need 3 more votes. So again, I think that's, and I can't say this enough, is that we only have, like, the process that we had before is the best process, and it has to maintain that because it's council's budget. We're all elected to do the work. We're all here for a reason, and it just can't be one person. That's a horrible way to do things. And so I really look forward to working with everybody and trying to convince them of what I want. And I hope everybody does the same thing. So with that, we'll get our heads around this, and we'll come back at the 24th is when we'll see it, but everybody, at the 19th is when stuff has to be in. Again, work with staff, work with Michael and his team, and we'll come to a conclusion sometime. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And we will go to bylaws. Councillor Hughes, please.
Thank you. Moved by myself, Councillor Hughes, seconded by Councillor Helleroux, that bylaw 25-5420 be approved, subject to section 284-11-4 of the Municipal Act.
Thank you very much. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. And I won't be vetoing anything, so the clerk can, that's what that portion is. And Councillor Helleroux for adjourn the meeting, please.
Thank you. Moved by myself, Councillor Helleroux, seconded by Councillor Van Kooten-Bossence, that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Ingersoll adjourn the November 3rd, 2025 special meeting of Council at 7:55 p.m.
Thank you. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you, everyone.